Yeah, man. Enough respect and good evening. Welcome to RockTrue Beatz. I'm your host, Marley King, and we thank you for joining us as we rock truth to nothing at all. RockTrue Beatz is a cross-cultural response to the lack of choice in music today. RockTrue Beatz is designed to provide a sound message from theory to lab to life, while encouraging the necessity to return back to origin by way of relative keys, his kingdom principles. Rock True Beats seeks to inspire, enlighten, and highlight upcoming and established local and international kings and queens, musical artists of all character, while promoting Black consciousness and awareness of who we are and to whom we belong. Peace. Good evening, grand rising to wherever you are in this big world of abundance, man.
Woo
Glad
woo.
to be back this evening time, man. Tuesday, June the 22nd, a
Yes,
couple
sir.
days after the summer solstice. If you didn't know, get in tune. The summer solstice just occurred, man. If you don't know what the solstice is, the solstice refers to the longest day or the shortest day of the year. And this particular time of year, we're at the summer solstice. Now we reached the peak, the pinnacle, and now we're on our way back down into our times of winter when we reach our winter solstice on December 21st, the shortest day of the year.
Huh.
Let me put some fat on your head
Yeah,
for this one time, man.
that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, something serious, my brethren.
Yeah.
This time of year is this time of year. It's time for things to get lively, but not too lively, man. Our topic of
Mm,
discussion today is going to be something deep, man, and it has to do, especially in times like these when we're coming out of the house and we're enjoying the wonderful, beautiful weather out here. You maybe go up to the beach, you maybe go out and associate downtown, you may go out to a party or a crowd,
mm,
and we always hear some music pumping, man. And what kind of music is this pumping? What kind of frequency is pumping out and influencing the way that the day is going to go, man, especially in the summertime, man. Like I said, everybody's coming out of hibernation from the wintertime. Usually the violence level tends to be very low during the winter, and now we
yeah.
start to get into our warmer months of the season, man. And this is something where we see an increase or a spike in violence, man. And it's not just because the weather's warming up. There's other influences that partake into shaping and molding the vibration of the masses. It's
Hmm.
something serious, my brethren. Nonetheless, man, I just want to go ahead and show you what I picked up earlier today before I ran into the door. I know you're just running in yourself as well.
Yeah.
We got something wonderful. And I think this is something, like I said, you're just walking into the door, my brethren. I'm just walking into the door myself. It's been a long, tiresome day.
What?
And maybe we got a lot on our mental. It's been a mentally tiring day for us as well.
Yeah.
But this right here, we have beautiful St. John's wort, also known as Hypericum perforatum. You see me? It's something
Mm,
serious, man. This is something serious, man. The number one medicine out there for things like depression, anxiety, people with maybe bipolar disorder, or well, what they say is bipolar disorder, or you
yeah.
have any manic episodes where you're just uptight and you got to do it. You got to do it on the spot, this, that, and the other. This is a
Right.
very good herb for this, man. It brings us a nice relaxation. Works as a strong nervine, man. You see what I mean when I say nervine? It works on
Yeah.
the nerves or the nervous system, man. It
Okay.
happens to be something that's very good for our brain, for our melatonin levels. It likes to promote a nice sleep, a nice sense of relaxation. She's got so many other particular uses for her as well, man. She's such a beautiful herb. And I was out on 87th Street in Chicago, right off Lakeshore Drive, and I happened to be walking around by the lake, man, get a peace of mind for a hot second for about an hour or two, and
Mm,
happened to run into her and an abundance of other wild edibles and medicinals. I was grazing off the mulberry trees. I still got black and blue stains on my hand right now. It was such a fruitful afternoon
yeah.
after a long stressful day slash
Yeah.
week, man. Slash month slash year.
Yeah.
It's been a really busy one for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't kidding.
Saint St. John's wort for you, my brethren, and for anybody else out there dealing with depression or having nervous episodes where you can't get your body to calm down. St. John's wort, man. Come
Mm,
follow me. Get at me on Instagram at ancient ANCIENT underscore mystic MYSTIC underscore INC. That's ancient underscore mystic underscore INC on Instagram. You see, follow me for some great adventures on there, man. Me and
yeah.
my brethren are always on some wild foraging adventures, man. We got a big farm on 25th and Buchanan here in the 5th District in Gary. We took over a lot, used to be occupied by 6 houses. And we started a great community piece out there, man, a real spiritual vibration, man. I'll tell you what, you may hear all the gunshots around and all the wickedness going on around us, but nothing ever comes to that lot right there, man. It's such a serious vibration, you know, and that's what it has to do with, man, the spirit of us, the spirit of who we are. You know what I'm saying? If there's a lot of dualities in this world, man. The world is created in duality. So we have a lot of good and a lot of evil. And I'll leave it up to the listener to decide whether or not we need evil in this world to to keep that balance, to keep that sense of homeostasis. But I'll leave that up for the listener to go ahead and ponder across their mind this evening time, because it's something serious, man. You know? Nonetheless, let me go ahead and put these down right here, man. And like I said, go ahead.
So how do you take that? How does that, like is that edible? Do you break it down into, do you crush it up, and then so what's the intake of it?
Love it, man. I'm glad you asked the question. I was gonna leave that off the table because, my goodness, like I said, we could spend an hour talking about these things, and I'm so infatuated with Mother Nature nowadays. Absolutely. But let me give you a quick synopsis, my brethren. So check it out. I'm going to take an individual stalk out of here. And we see we got the flower head up here in the top. And then we see the green foliage around here. Very, I shouldn't say it's easy to identify, but when you see these flowers on here, it makes it that much more easier to identify. It really blends in with the foliage. But nonetheless, we like to take all of the aerial parts of the plant. So aerial parts meaning the parts that grow above ground. So we don't want to use the roots. That means we can use the stem. We can use the leaves, the little offshoots, and we could also use these flowers right here. The medicine is stored all throughout the plant right here, you see? But down in the roots, you would never use the roots because they don't necessarily hold any medicinal purpose. But maybe, like I said, maybe further study in the laboratory can go ahead and verify this. But we just going by the knowledge passed down through us, through our ancestors, through the ancient ones, you know? Those are the ones who really understood the medicine before there were things like technology. This stuff was given to us through the source of divine, man. You know, it was something serious. No matter what your belief system was, all across the world, you know, it all falls under the concept of one God, one creator, man. You see? And when people talk about all these different religions and they have all these different names like God, Allah, Jah, Buddha, Krishna, when they got all of these different names and all of these different cultures, we find one common place, man, that things were given to them from the source or from the creator. That's where the knowledge came from, you know? And all that stuff was passed down through a lot, at least in my perspective, man, it was passed down through a lot of divine interactions. Nowadays, we're so out of tune from the frequencies that are being pumped all around us, man. If we could only see through a magnetic grid, you know, if we can only see with our eyes what's going on around us, we'd see how distorted everything around us is, man. And you know, the creator works in forms of vibration and frequency as well, man. We could feel that the presence of the creator around us, man. You know, and all of this knowledge was given to them from one particular source, man. And to be honest, man, when we see it like that, there should be no division, man. What makes us any different? What makes me different from you, man? Maybe the color of our skin, but you cut us open and we bleed the same blood, you see? It's something serious, man. I always like to put a good message out there like that because I feel like a lot of my brethren that are still, you know, locked down in the streets or in the culture like that, man, in the wicked spectrum or on the wicked side of things, you know, they don't get a chance to hear this enough, man. So I always like to put that out there, man. Each one teach one, as the philosophy say, man. You know, we always have to pass that down to the next person. At least we said something. At least we acknowledge it. You know, from there, we can only lead the horse so far to the water, man. It's up to them to drink it, you know? So, you know, it's a tough thing, man, but I always love to put a good message out there like that. But nonetheless, let me get back on track. You see how I can get off on a tandem, man? We're going for a whole hour. Respect, my brethren, respect. But nonetheless, check it out. So we use the aerial parts, these beautiful flowers, the foliage right here, and the stem. We could break this up, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some thread or some string, and I'm going to tie the bottom right here. And I'm going to hang her upside down outside, or if you don't want to hang her outside, if you don't have a place, put her in a closet or in a dark space and let her dry for however long it takes. Usually outside, depending on the humidity, it's going to take roughly a day or two, you know, real talk. It's fairly quick and fairly simple. But nonetheless, after we dry it, we can go ahead and break her down, whether or not we want to get some snips or some scissors and go ahead and break her that way, or go ahead and strip the stems. So, you know, we'll take a stem and we'll just hold it from the top and run our fingers down and take all of that stuff off, all of this foliage off, and we can use it that way. So it's very simple. It's not hard at all to use. And after we do, we go ahead and we take that and we put it into like a tea bag, or I like to use loose leaf herbs. I already brewed me up some
Okay.
nice St. John's wort right here, you
Yeah.
see? And it's
Yeah.
got that beautiful color to it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is fresh. We don't usually use it fresh unless
Okay.
we're in maybe a survival situation. But
Okay.
nonetheless, she's got a very beautiful flavor right now, and I can already feel her working wonders on my nervous system. I feel nice and relaxed, man. I feel great right now, you see? So we take that and we make her into a nice tea. Or we could also put her in things like salves or creams that we want to put onto our body into different places of inflammation or joint pain, because she works really well as an anti-inflammatory agent, man. She's a very powerful one, All this stuff is hidden within Mother Nature, and it's only hidden to us because nobody has shown us the light, man. With us getting back on another topic, to us being so out of tune of things. Think about how our ancestors were so in tune in the past. They were able to have these particular, what we may consider conversations with the source, Nowadays, with all of the frequencies, it's just got us so out of whack, and that rift, or that void between space and time, between the physical realm and the spiritual realm, is so jacked up that nobody can cross through it unless you have the wicked power, Like I said, duality in the world, man. People could use, the basic instructions before leaving Earth, the good old Bible. They could use that for good and wicked intentions. We can use the Quran for wicked or good intentions. We can use the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas. We can use those for good and bad, It all depends on who the person is, man, And it's very important for us to shape and mold each other's minds, man, because every day is a learning lesson, We may not know everything, but we may cross paths with somebody that could share us to some knowledge that they never thought that they would learn in their life. For example, what we're talking about right now, I wonder how many people, maybe even yourself, never seen this herb, never knew about the powers of her. It's something very divine, man. The message, the message comes from the source, and it's given to me, but it's not up to me to hang on to that knowledge, man. Who's telling me to hang on to it? I need to be the vessel, the one that channels that to somebody else. And everybody out there should be that as well. Never withhold some knowledge for profits. A lot of people, they don't like to give away knowledge for free, but sometimes, we share a little bit of game, and game recognize game, real recognize real, man. So people are either going to accept it, or they're going to have to go on, and maybe later in life they'll accept it when they have another interaction with somebody else and they put them on, or maybe a celebrity puts them on to it. That's what I see nowadays. I've been teaching this for 3+ years, and now I see a lot of, since the pandemic hit, all these celebrities are I was beekeeping 3 years ago, and now everybody else beekeeping. I'm like, oh man, I tried to be a little different, and righteous with it. But
and that's tripped out how fickle we are. Like you have somebody, you have your neighbor tell you about something special, but then you don't want to do nothing about it. But the moment you hear somebody popular talking about it, you're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. It's like, dude, I just told you about that 2 years ago, like for a long time, and now you think it's something dope. And people are tripping out, man. People are tripping.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, it's a very strange time we're living in right now, I shall say. But let's dive a little deeper into our topic of discussion today, which is going to be the hypocrisy of music. And what do I mean by hypocrisy? I mean people saying one thing and doing another.
Absolutely.
Just like my old reference that I like to say to a lot of folks nowadays is, how do you say you love God but you shun Mother Nature?
Yeah.
God is Mother Nature.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about with the hypocrisies. The word hypocrisy itself, what it means here, man. People saying one thing and doing the next, or people saying one thing and practicing another. Right. And let's dive a little deep, man. We're gonna dive into the music industry today, man. And if we mention some names, no offense to anybody, man, but sometimes the truth hurts, man. The truth is the truth, man. It's time to let the truth be told.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? People have to listen up here. Yeah, that's right, Octavia. You see what I'm saying, man? Let the truth be told, man. Don't hold it back. I think that's where we, and even myself, I'm guilty of it as well, man. I'm such an empath, and I got such a big heart for people in the world that I always want to give people a chance or a second chance. And a lot of people, they take advantage of that, man. But nonetheless, let's not get off topic here, man. I'm gonna go off into a completely other rant. I'm working on that. That's something that's deep with me, man. You know, when I'm passionate about something, I like to run with it, man. And I feel like I don't have enough time in the day to talk about it all. So, you know,
You
let's
know?
try to keep things concise and on track.
Yeah.
Anyways, man. So let's dive back to the music industry. If we drop any names, if we talk about any record labels, any CEOs, man, let the truth be told. We ain't holding back to none of that stuff, man. We keeping it real because it's a war out there. It's a sound war, man. It's no longer a physical war like people think it is. Or maybe it's just not. Maybe it's not just the physical war, but it's the mental and the spiritual war and the sound war, all of it combined. You know, I got a deep friend of mine, man, and he's very musically inclined, an old head in the game from the origins of hip hop, and he got this script in his head, man, talking about sound wars, man, and how somebody came from he used all these dope names, you know. I'm not gonna leak the rest of it. I'll bring him on sometime in July when we start having guests. But nonetheless, yeah, absolutely, it's gonna be a dope show. Nonetheless, he wrote this script about, you know, this person coming from this galaxy or this one planet, and he arrived on Earth, man, and he seen everything was in turmoil and destruction, man, and it wasn't, and you know, the people that was ruling the world at that time was ruling it through sound, playing all these wicked riffs, all these wicked notes and stuff like that to really just keep the people enslaved mentally, and then it reflected on them physically, and it just started diving deep, man, and it became a sound war, man. The man busted out the big old turntables, man, with the big 16s or 22s on the side, man, pumping the amplifier. You know, getting out there, man, and scratching the records, spinning the records, man, putting something in rotation, man. Think of like some Public Enemy, man, some fast pace, you know, up tempo BPMs, you know, pushing 120 BPMs and such, you know, really fast, and all that stuff is going out, man. The different instruments are like weapons, you know. You got the guitar, you got the trumpet, or you got the hit, or you got the bass line, and they all shooting out these different weapons, and it's a big old sound war going on. But it's something serious, man. I'm not gonna spill no more beans, man. I'll let him describe it when he gets here in July, and give you so much more game, man, because it's a wonderful elder of mine. This is how I feel, man.
I like it though. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's get back on track, my man. So let's dive into the sound war thing, man. You know, it's very deep about the hypocrisy in music nowadays, and we see all type of instrumentals being created. A lot of it sounds the same, you know. To me, a lot of things sound the same. We look at all of them. Okay, let's just say, let's keep, like I said, we're gonna keep it real. Let the truth be told, man. All of it sound the same, man. You know, there's really no difference in it. What's the difference, man? Nothing. You see. Even when it comes to the lyrical game of things, you know, back in the day, a rhyme meant something, you know. When we're gonna dive here in just a second, man. I'm gonna ask you to pull up that video. We're gonna dive deep and go through some lyrics here, man, and listen to this, man. Really listen to it, you know. Maybe to even some of those people out there who have never really listened to the music like that. They just heard it, they just vibed with it because it sounded good. Which is what a lot of people tell me nowadays, man. When they listen to music, they say, you know, I always call them out. I'm like, you listening to that, man, but they probably talking about your mother. They probably talking about your sister, and you're gonna allow them to continually disrespect your people on a track, man. To me, I ain't having that, man. I can't listen to that. But we hear people always giving excuses, man, for why that is. They say, oh, well, I like the beat. You know, the beat, I'm just vibing to the beat. And they always trying to cover their tracks, man. You know, they really listening to it because they singing along with it too, man. And they know lyric for lyric, you know. But they always use the lame excuse, you know, I love the beat. I'm vibing to the beat, man. Well, if that's the case, why don't you go on YouTube in the day of technology where we could find the instrumentals for these things and listen to the instrumentals, because the instrumentals, all of it's on there, you know. So why make the excuse, especially to somebody intelligent like myself or like yourself? It doesn't make any sense, man. Like I said, the hypocrisy, man. You're saying you don't like like I said, a lot of these people telling me they don't like what is being said in the music, but they just like the beat. So why are you gonna tell me that, and yet you're singing lyric for lyric and vibing with the beat? Now you're being a hypocrite. You're telling me one thing and doing another. Okay, we're gonna list a whole heap of hypocrisies tonight, man. You know, and if this resonates with a particular listener, then let this be a lesson, because none of us are as perfect as the next man. You understand? This is not to degrade you if you're a listener trying to open up your mind to get a new perspective in the world. But if you're already participating in or somebody that's bringing it to the table, a producer of it, then yes, this video is calling you out, man. This podcast is calling you out right now, and we're gonna. Yeah, and they say they're not talking about me exactly, and they the one that's calling their homegirl the B word, man, or calling they homie out a name and such, the same way, Octavia. You understand? It's something really deep, man. And words sound power. Once again, man, words sound power. Let's understand that, man. Word sound power. That means when we're speaking the word, it holds a power. I believe last week we talked about the power that words have on things like plants, and the way that and I think actually somebody showed an experiment a couple of shows previous to me as well with the strawberries. Nonetheless, that was very interesting how we kind of the universe aligned us up to tie those two subjects in on the same night or on the same day or on the same program. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm going to keep it real. It's one of those. But yeah, man, it's such a hypocrisy like that. I think that people like to make excuses for the artists because they don't want to accept the reality of the situation, man. They know that the world is wicked, man, and they don't want to. They don't want to get caught up in all of that. But we're living in reality. We can't be lost in the fantasy for so long. Something. Let's see what Octavia said here, man. Sound waves carry so much information. Why wouldn't it affect you? Exactly. Just how we was talking. How speaking words and the sound and the power that they have. When you speak words into a plant or even into water, we start to see how this affects the shape of the crystalline structure of the water. It's very deep. Once again, we start to see these snowflake shapes or these very sacred geometrical shapes appear in there as well. And if we dive deep into the metaphysics of the world, then especially into religion, this ties into religion a little bit as well. We start to see how these geometrical shapes are shown throughout many different cultures, through forms of maybe pendants that they're wearing around their neck, or other chalices or trinkets or things of these nature that they would have all around them. We start to see it in the what you want to call it? I can't think of the right word for it, but we'll call it the buildings, the way that they built their artistry that they put inside the masonry. It was something serious like that. These shapes reflected a certain power, and this was understood very, very profoundly within ancient cultures. When we start to see how speaking words of love, what's his name? Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of his name. I didn't get time today to pick out his name. But Octavia just was talking about, an Asian scientist, man. I believe he was Japanese, but he could be Chinese. We have to look into that to verify it. But nonetheless, he did that experiment with the water, and it was just such a profound way of displaying the power of words or sound or power, whether or not it's projected through a conversation like you and I are having, or it's put through radio towers and projected through transcommunication, man. It becomes something even deeper than that. Think of let's think back to ancient Kemet. Let's call it Kemet. We won't call it Egypt because that's an English word right there. That's a modern day terminology, and it probably word sound power. Once again, when we get down to the numerology of things too, and the way that it reflects many different languages and many different headlines and news articles, and even words that were put on the states. Let's not get off topic, but you understand what I'm saying, man. The power of words, okay? The power of words. Let's jump back to ancient Kemet, and we think about the pyramids out there. If you take it's called Kirlian photography. If you take a Kirlian photograph, okay, and Kirlian photography is it's putting a special lens over the camera to catch the aura of a person or an object. And not just, I shouldn't just just limit it to a person, because animals and everything else hold a vibration, and we could always feel that. When our hand gets close, we could sense that, and our hand could feel, the heat or the energy that's coming off of us. You could do that with a person. It's just like how that you could feel somebody coming up on the back of you. You feel somebody intruding your aura. Okay. Architecture. The pyramids are physical prayer and architecture. Yes, absolutely. We're going to dive a little deeper on that just now. Absolutely. So we jump back to ancient Kemet, man, and we see the pyramids. When we take a photograph and we take a Kirlian photograph. Okay. For anybody who wants to look that up, it's Kirlian, Kirlian photograph. Okay. And this is and you could probably even search it and Kirlian photograph of a pyramid. Okay. And this is just taking a photograph of the shape of a pyramid. This isn't going out to the pyramids. I wonder if they've done experiments, but I haven't read any research pertaining to those out in ancient Kemet yet. But nonetheless, in an in vitro or laboratory setting, they took in a pyramid, a shape, and they went ahead and did that Kirlian photograph. And what this did, it showed the immense amount of the energy coming off it. You see,
right.
Showing you the power of that particular sacred geometrical shape.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, we start to see the pyramid show up in many different artifacts, and we see it even showing up in our money today. And why is that? You know, we see people from the Americas all the way across. We see sorry, I'll be getting distracted by the comments here.
No, you good, man.
Yes,
you good.
there you go. There you go. His name, Dr. Masaru Emoto. Yes, thank you, Octavia. Oh, it's so wonderful to have a sidekick on the show, man. You being like my right hand right now. You feel me?
Yeah.
Love that. Give thanks. But yeah, we start to see the immense power from these sacred geometrical shapes, and then we start to see them in different architecture and even in our money today. Why is that, man? Why is it that we see them here in ancient American cultures, and then we see it all the way across the pond, all the way across Africa, all the way into the deepest parts of Russia as well? Right. You know, these are things that are vaguely spoken about, and I think there's a reason behind all of it. If we understood the deep connection between sacred geometry and us and the world around us, I think that's a very big way to unlock the keys of the universe, in a sense, man, or really tap into the source, or to divine. Like I said, give thanks. We always see how that veil is almost closed off for the world, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe cats like you and I, who are a little more in tune and could really sense and acknowledge creation or the creator.
Right.
I think it's wonderful, but I think it comes a little more easily for us, you know, whereas to everybody else, it's really not made that known for each other, you know. That we really have to find ways to shape and mold this, and the way to do that to me is through music. Right. Music is one of them universal pieces of work that it connects everybody to each other, man. Because there may be a particular, everybody loves music, man. I don't think I've met one person who doesn't like music. Okay, and that's and just listening to the music, we start to be engulfed with all them vibrations and all them feelings, man. You know, and here we go again. We're talking about we're getting into the summer months, and now we start to see everybody coming out and they pumping their music all over the place. But what do we hear the music being about, man? We hear it being about violence, and we hear it about killing and drug use and drug dealing and disrespect, you know, and then that reflects on us as well, man. I can't even recount how many countless times I've been to the beach, man, near and far, where I see the same thing going on, man. Fueled by the wicked music and the alcohol as well, you know. But think about it: if people were to be drinking alcohol and listening to something like Melvin and the Blue Notes, you feel me? Something deep, man. Something more with a love vibration, you know, or something more conscious, or just more music that was more in tune. I really think that maybe there would be a different outcome, man. You know, we hear everybody pumping all this music around town, and we just see the reflection of it all the time. And some of these cats, man, some of these artists out there too, are walking around with Jesus pieces or crosses, or you know, the rosary and the praying hands on them. They walking around wearing all that stuff, signifying that they're a spiritual person, but yet they partake in all of the wickedness. They're one of the producers of it. That's the wolf in sheep's clothing, in a sense. You know, we see this all over the place. I see many artists doing this, man, and it's so disturbing to me. And when I speak up about it, when I wind up saying something to I shouldn't say I speak to the mainstream artists and stuff like that, but nonetheless, to the people around me, man, that's trying to pump some music to me or get me to check something out, I'm like, yo, you know what you're doing, man? You're committing a crime against your people, man. You know, we over here talking about the white man destroying everything, man. But what about us, man? What are we doing to ourselves, man? You know, what? Let's not make excuses for these artists out here that's pumping all that stuff, man. When drill music got big back in I don't know, when was that, man? Like 2015, 14, 15? Yeah. Was that like the introduction of it or so? I'm trying to remember. I was down in Miami when that stuff came about, man. I started hearing about these Chief Keefs and these Lil Reese's and you see, man.
That's true.
Yeah, man. You see me? You see, man,
Yeah.
and you started listening to the music, and it was, somebody had to have let this come into the industry or on the scene like that, man. It's something that was seen. The game was peeped by the record industry, and they said, okay, we see we could do this with this artist, and look, this is gonna do this particular thing, and in turn, it's gonna be so wicked. It's gonna kill off the black man. It's gonna kill off the people of color,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it's going to make us millions of dollars.
Yeah.
These cats went out there, and just like you and I was talking about, somebody wrote up a script. Somebody
Yeah.
wrote up a script for a lot of these artists, man.
Yes.
These artists was some of these cats like Chief Keef and Lil Reese and 300, this, that,
Yeah.
Wang Bang, all that, this, that, and the other. They was already living in an environment like this, man. So in order for somebody to take advantage of that,
Right.
and then everybody glorified at the same time,
Yeah.
it's such a disheartening thing to me, man. I was just on the west side, on Madison and Pulaski in Chicago. I actually came from there today, and I was there on Saturday as well for Juneteenth. I was out there in the city, man, and we had some wonderful conversation out there, man. We stopped on the west side to grab a homie, and my goodness, it was just so ran down, man, and people strung out. It was hot.
Right.
You couldn't
Right.
breathe out there. You just see where all of that infestation and filth comes from, man. And all that stuff is reflected in the music as well. Then we went on the east side in Hyde Park, man, and it was a totally different vibe, man. More cleaner, more interracial. There was less trouble. There was more diversity. My goodness, man, it was just such a whole different vibe. And that's where we linked up with a couple of elder scholars out there, man. And these cats come from all different backgrounds, but nonetheless they're so knowledgeable. They studied under some really great teachers in this world, man. And I was fortunate enough to hang around with them. And it was really kicking some heavy knowledge out there. But nonetheless, to see the difference in two sides of town like that was very disrupting as well to my conscience, man. Because I see, especially being an outsider coming in there, I see so much more potential. But how can you see potential when the spirit is dead, man? The people are like walking zombies, man. It's such an unfortunate thing to see out there. And this is, to me, all in part with the music, man. We got all of these young boys, man, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They out there creating all of this havoc, and it's not stopping, man. They're creating all of this havoc. And when you see how that's reflected, how the music is reflecting on the peoples, man, and then you see all the money that's being pulled in from this stuff, why aren't the communities being helped out like that, man? If you got these millions of dollars, if the record labels got all these millions of dollars, why isn't nobody posing these questions, man? It's something that's tough to see, man. And not be able to do nothing about, especially when you see what could be done with a particular side of town.
I would venture to say it like this: it's not that we can't do nothing about it; is that we're not doing what we can about it. And what we can do about it is this show right here. We pump these shows out. We have these conversations. And here we are doing something about it. It may not affect everybody, but guess what? This is a video. This is going to be saved on in the cloud somewhere, and at some point in time, somebody's going to see this, and somebody's going to hear that message, and somebody's going to say, you know what? I'm going to change me. I'm not going to listen and buy in to that vibe. I'm not going to buy into that music anymore. I'm going to start, I'm going to start listening to more instrumentals. I'm going to start listening to music that inspires me, and not just trying to tear down my community, and start building up my environment, because I'm a product of my environment. So we're doing something about it. It may not be a whole lot, but I tell you this, it's enough.
I absolutely agree with you, man. Everybody's got a part in this war to play, man, and we playing our part. Somebody else has another part to play, and somebody over there has the next part to play. And if we all play it individually, it's like a football team or a basketball team, man. You can't just have one player on the court and win the whole game going against another starting five, man. You got to go ahead and have the group on you, man. You have to have that group effort. Overstood? It's something serious. Nonetheless, I want to jump into this track, since we're on the discussion about how this music and how these words through sound and power are affecting communities and are affecting us. Let's go ahead and pull up Melly Mel, The Message, man. And we're going to listen. It's a long song, and I suggest that everybody take time out of their day to give it, I believe it's 7 minutes long. Give them 7 minutes to listen to this song, man. you know, and to go to show you how you could use creativity. The artists that we listening to nowadays creating all this wicked music, there's no creativity in there, man. Where is the creativity? There's no artistry in that, man. Even the way that they're recording it from just, when I'm in the booth recording, man, I say, hey, let it roll. And then I go through, man, and I lay my verse, you know, come out clean, man. Get a one, you know, I like to be a one track man. I like to jump on there and do it in one track and that's it. And get it sounding nice. But you see the other people nowadays, man, they doing it the totally wrong way, man. They going in there and they saying a quick bar. They like, give it to the lab, to life while encouraging. You see, they're jumping in like that and just piecing their tracks together like that. And I think it just really takes the artistry out of what's supposed to be hip hop or even music in general. Yeah. But nonetheless, man, let's get into Melly Mel. This is a song, I believe it's from, tell me if it say it on there, man, down a little bit.
1997.
1997? I don't believe it's from 97. I think it's from like 78. No, it's got to be later than that. It's got to be in the 80s. This is 1980 sometime, man. Yeah, let's take us back to the 80s right now, man. This is one of the originals, man. This old Sugar Hill Gang. If you know the people that made Apache, jump on it. Tanto, jump on it. Yeah, man. Okay, so that's Sugar Hill Gang. This is Melly Mel, man. And we're gonna go ahead and listen to the message right now and really take time to listen in. Go ahead and start it up, my brother.
Bringing back memories, dude.
Yeah, man. Watch out. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep on going under. Yeah, man.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
All right, here we go. Listen to these words right here now.
Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stage, you know they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, rollers in the back. Junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far. Cause a man with a touch possessed my car. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Like a jungle sometimes. Wonder how I keep going under.
All right, my brethren, pause this up real quick. Pause it up one time. Pause it up one time. Hold up a second now. Hold up. All right. So he says, broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stairs like they just don't care. I can't take the smell. Can't take the noise. Got no money to move out. I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room. Roaches in the back. Junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because the man with the tow truck repossessed my car. Now, how real is that, man? How many people could relate to something like that? Or how many people can find the humor in visualizing a video or a story from that, man? It's such a wonderful, upward vibe, and it's such a realistic thing too, man. I know that cats out here living in a lot of violence and stuff like that, but we don't need to glorify it or promote it like we see being done in the music.
Yeah.
Okay, Melly Mel was from New York back in the day, and we could think about New York back in the day. It was a bad place to be in some parts of town, and it's rough, you know. But nonetheless, we could talk about things like this to really bring back the wonderful vibration. When we hear music like, you know, I don't even think I can name a song nowadays, my brethren. When it comes to naming like these artists on the radio, I think I was just naming Chief Keefs and Lil Reese off the top of my head, man. They got so many crazy names and so many crazy music videos and this, that, and the other. I can't even name some of these cats because I don't partake in that stuff. But nonetheless, these particular cats, if you break down their lyrics, man, and listen to some of the things they say, man, all it's talking about is pulling out these guns, man, and shooting down some folks, man, shooting the opposition, shooting your brother, shooting your sister. I heard one song talking about running up in somebody's house, man, and blasting his grandmother, man. You know, when stuff like that is put out there, it's like we're talking about the vibration earlier. It's got such a wicked effect on the mind or on the ether of the people, man.
Right.
You know, when we start to listen to things like Melly Mel, the message right here, we start to see how it reflects to us, man. You know, it's such a good vibration, man. It has I think there was one word, if you want to consider it a curse word in there, you know, talking about him using the bathroom on the stairs or urinating on the stairs. If that's considered a curse word, then let it be considered one. But nonetheless, there wasn't a curse word dropped in that song, and from top to bottom, it's a 7-minute song. The man never cursed once, but kept it real, man. Spoke about real life, something that he dealt with, even if he did go through, and I'm sure he went through some wicked situations and such, man. Many folks did growing up back in the day, man. It was just part of life back then. But nonetheless, man, he never rapped about none of that stuff or flowed about none of that stuff. And if he did, he put it into a fun and creative way to where he didn't have to make it so damning or so violent, man, you know? So something so demonic, rather, you know?
Yeah.
I like to say too, when it comes to movies, scary movies are not scary anymore, man.
Yeah.
They're demonic, you know? We start to see things like what was that one I seen the commercial for? The Conjuring.
Yeah.
They made like 3 or 4 of these, man. You know, and these things are not even scary, man. They don't scare me. They're demonic, meaning that when I go to bed at night, I have a crazy dream, man. You know, wake up in sweats, in a puddle of sweat.
Yeah.
Okay. And to me, the music is the very same way, man. You know, look at the way movies, the black and white movies, or even the old movies back in the 70s and 80s and such, the scary movies.
Yeah.
They weren't so demonic, man.
Right.
It's how you're saying it. That's right, man. It's how you're saying it. Words sound power, Octavia. You overstand. And Octavia, I'm going on so many different rambles tonight, man. I promise next week I'm going to be more on point, man. I'm going to be more on point, more organized with it. I feel like I got so much to say, and an hour is no longer sufficient enough for me, you know? I need hours, you know? Give me the whole day. Give me the mic and let me run with it, you know? Something serious. Nonetheless, let's jump back on the topic, man. But yeah, this song, like the message right there, man. If you even listen to a lot of songs back in that genre, it was about love. It was about having a good time. Most people back then, even if the drugs were of an influence, the people were having a good time out there for the most part. Let's not look at the minority where, you know, there maybe was some people getting roughed up or this, that, and the other, people getting killed. Let's not look at that because it wasn't so immense like it was back in the day. And I think a lot of things nowadays, there may not be so much of it going on, but it just seems like a lot because it's portrayed that way. It's given to us from the television that same way, you know. They put all of these numbers, or they don't give us enough numbers on there. They only give us so much information to work with. And if you're not out there knowing what's going on, you're going to automatically form a perception. And that's to me why a lot of perception is portrayed on the minority communities as wicked. And excuse me, I got to correct myself because I'm working on my word sound power as well. I'm not going to use the word minority because that doesn't refer to us, man. We're the people of the sun, the children of the sun. You understand? Many other words to you besides minority because we're not the minority, man. We're the majority. There's so many of us in this country, and it's a big old melting pot right now. You know?
Yeah, this is true.
Nonetheless, like I said, let me not get off topic here. My goodness. Yes, absolutely. So we see how you know, us being the majority. Man, Brendan, I lost my train of thought for a second. I started going off on a whole nother tangent now.
That's
cabrón.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. But it gets deep like that, my brethren. You understand? We can go for hours on that when it comes to word sound power and the power of music on communities all around us, man, and how these music videos or these songs that portray violence, this, that, and the other, are heard by the outliers or the other ones around us, and then it's portrayed on our communities as we're all wicked, man, when it could really only be a small majority of us, man. You know, one bad apple could make it bad for the whole batch, right? You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same way in this world. And we're so out of tune, man, from this music being pumped at this wicked way and this wicked frequency. We're so out of tune with that we fail to recognize when our fellow brethren like me or yourself or good sister Octavia go to bring that to the attention to somebody and say, hey, listen, man, what you listening to is whack, man. Look what you're saying. Look what they talking about. That doesn't offend you. You're going to accept that. Then you're going to say this, that, and the other and go out to the club. And when somebody calls you one of those words, then it's a fight.
Right.
You know, and it's not even a fight no more, man. It's a killing.
Yeah.
It's a homicide.
Yeah.
You know, no need for that, man. The
Right.
the first original wars in this world were fought with sound. Let's think back to the very origins of the Crusades. You
Okay.
know, when we had the Christians coming from this land, and we had the Hebrews coming from this land, and we had, you know, the Muslims coming from this land. When everybody met at the corner, everything was a sound. You know, the Christian said his you know, his hymns like they sing in the Catholic Church.
Right.
You know, the Muslims, you know, had the Allah Akbar chant that they did, and the Hebrews, you know, I can't even, Hebrew is a tough language to learn, so I can't even say what the Hebrews brought to the table. But nonetheless, you understand what I'm saying. Everybody came together like that, man, and that, even if it's not documented like that, we have to really think about it like that, to put that into perspective, man. The first wars were fought with sound. There's a reason that these particular religions created these particular sounds, man, because they understood the vibration back then, something that we're out of tune with due to the way the music is pushed on us nowadays, man, through the mainstream. You know, there's a lot of people that need to be held accountable for this stuff. And the FCC is something that my elder, who's going to be coming on the show here in July, he went up against the FCC, man, you know, and took them to I believe he went to court with them, if I'm not mistaken, man. And he brought this up, man, about how these radio stations are out here playing all of this music on their stations that's doing nothing but promoting wickedness and killing people in the communities. You know, I don't think that he won the case, but he made a very, very strong point, and they really got to feel him, because he's a powerful speaker when it comes with it, man. People feel his word, man, because he's a real brethren. He come with it, you know. Knowledge is power. Nonetheless, man, the FCC got to be held accountable for that as well, man. You know, when we see people in positions of power allowing this to go on, you and I can't stop what's being pushed on the radio, because the people in the radio stations are being paid through this chain of command. You know, if they don't play this, if they go against they master's order, in a sense, you know, they're gonna go ahead and get punished for it. You know, and it's so unfortunate that people is locked up in this war like that, man, where everybody is lost in the mix, man. And I'm fortunate enough to have some conscious folks like ourselves, man, that could come to the table and be able to put these truths out there. You know, even if we go on a couple of tangents like myself, just bear with me, y'all. You know, a week to come, hey, man, things are going to be shaping up real nice, man. Y'all just stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, coming together like this on a platform like so is really something that'll be a highlight for the rest of the world to see. You know, when we make noise, even if it's a little at a time, every noise has to be heard somewhere, and then that noise gets transferred all around, man. Think about when you in a room. We talked about reverb last week. You know, let's talk about delay a little bit. You know, when we in the studio working with delay, you know, we could say a word, and then word. It travels on and on. And eventually somebody's going to hear it, because somebody is along that line. And just think about us in this world. When we speak it out, it goes up into the sky, into the atmosphere, man. And this word can reverberate. These vibrations can reverberate. You know, I'm not saying that we all have to believe this, because to believe means that you don't know. I like to know things, man, but that's something in particular that I believe, because I just can't prove that yet, man. It sounds so real, and it sounds so correct, but I just can't prove it. And maybe there's some scientists out there who are proving things like that, you know, but I haven't come across the research as of yet.
Yeah, we got one. We got Doc Ock. She a scientist, and I trust me. she
come heavy with the knowledge, man. My mind be blown some days. I feel like I'm back in chemistry class, man.
Yeah, right.
Something serious, man.
Yeah. Now, man, you talking real talk there, because the reality is this, that when we're dealing with our children in general, you know, how you speak to a child will determine how they grow up in life. I got a buddy right now. He told me the other day, he said his entire child life, his father never spoke softly to him. It was always yelling. It was always, you know, it was always a whooping. He said that's the only bond that he has with his father. And he grew up in an environment basically that was just, you know, for the most part, violence and chaos. And you know, you look at him and you can tell that his entire life has been just based on this, you know, this sound and vibration that's been pushed into him. And now because of that environment that he was in, he's living the life that he's living. Now he's doing a whole lot better now, because as adults, we learn how to change and switch those things around. but that scarred him for life, all because someone was constantly yelling at him and constantly, beating on him and doing violent things toward him. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man.
Look, man, there's so many ways to project that violence, man. Doesn't always have to be physically. It could be art. We speak about this time and time again, but it's important that we speak on it because nobody else is speaking on it like that, But but the violence is not just physical, but it's mental, it's spiritual, it's audible, meaning that we can hear it, we can feel it, man. Let's get in better tune with our senses, as we grow wiser in age. I don't ever like to say that we're growing older, man, because older may make you feel like, oh man, I'm losing. We're getting wiser, in age, man. We're getting wiser. Another year wiser, as I like to say. It's been a thing of mine for the past 2 years, and it fits very suitably with myself. I like that vibration. Words sound power. We say something and that vibration feels right, we stick with it. And make sure that we pass that on. But nonetheless, man, brother, I lost my train of thought here, man. I got cats. I got a couple of my cats walking around out here and stuff.
Yeah. I would tell you this: I'm taking that growing wiser. I'm not gonna get old. I'm done getting old now. I'm done getting old. I'm getting wise. I'm getting wise.
Trust and believe now.
I'm 38 wise. How about that?
Okay, so you got about 10 years on me, my brother. I'm 28, man. I may look like I'm about 48, but I'm 28, man. I tell you, 92, baby.
Man, wow. Yeah, I got a couple of years on you, man. Just a couple.
Absolutely. Hey, but that's 10 years worth of wisdom, man. There's a lot of things.
It ain't nothing that I did. I realized that because I used to feel that way too, that wisdom comes from age. Wisdom does come from age, but it's not always the right type of wisdom, right? The best and the right type of wisdom comes from the Lord. That's the one when you really want to achieve optimum, precise, and very well placed wisdom, you have to seek God, because you can learn a lot of different things in this world and be totally wrong about all of them. But when you learn more through the Lord, you got no other place but to be right, because guess what? He is right about everything.
It's so funny you say that, man. I've always said that wisdom comes through experience, and the way that I connect with what you said is so deep to me. Check this out, man. Yeah. The experience comes from because all these situations are divine like that, man. Yes. The creator puts them in place. It's like the saying that people say, we're dealt a hand of cards, man. When we come into this world, man, through birth. So it becomes deep like that. Yeah. The creator has laid out a path for us, and each and every experience is supposed to be that learning lesson for us to learn. And not everybody has the same trials as the next man, Therefore, it's always important for us to follow the phrase, each one teach one, man. Yeah. And it's so deep. You really brought a nice connection for me right there, man, when you said that. Because I never had associated the two words like that, and to me those two words can be interchangeable for myself when I think about it. Yeah, so that's deep, man. Enough respect now.
Yeah, man. Wisdom has to come from God. It has to come from the Lord. If you can, like I said, you can be wise in your day to day. But the reality of it is, you just learn how to walk down the street. But God is the one that's teaching you how to do the walking, right? We don't want to put God in it. We want to think, oh, it's just me. No, it's our experiences, like you said, that are divine in our steps. We just don't want to add the divine part. We want to feel like, oh, it's me that's doing the walking. No, it's not.
Hey, man, I heard somebody speak on this the other day. I don't believe I heard it from you and Mary's show. Okay. When was it? Yesterday? Y'all had a show yesterday?
There was a show yesterday. It was that was the youth show yesterday.
What was the one where I chimed in like halfway through the show? It was you and Mary?
It was probably Friday. That was Friday's show.
Okay, my goodness, man, how time flies.
Man, who you telling?
Nonetheless, man, it was either on that show. I don't think it was, but it might have been. But I think it came from somewhere else. But somebody said, when everything in this world is gone, man. Yeah. People say that's it. But this how you could separate ourselves or creation from the creator. You know, when the world is gone, there still is that light, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's
Absolutely.
there still is that creator, man, that
Right.
the Almighty who creates creation.
He
You
was there.
know, and
He
it's
was
so
there. He was there before it. He's going to be there during it, and he's going to be there
man.
after it. He stands outside of what we know as existence. You know, and
Yes.
so we but that's man's perception that once I'm gone, it's all gone. And that's self-centered. That's selfish of us. You know, because guess what? Guess what? I promise you this. If I die tonight, guess what you're gonna be doing tomorrow? You're gonna be doing the same thing. You still gonna be living. I'm the one
trust
that's
and believe
gone.
now.
You know, you still gonna be living your life. You're still gonna be trusting in the Lord. You're still gonna be walking in the Lord. Guess what? I'm the one that's been removed. And the Bible makes it clear that is removed from this place or absent from this world is present with the Lord. It's as simple as that. But we want to get this self-centered idea that, you know, everything revolves around me. And if we're not here, human beings, mankind, then it don't exist. And that's not the case. Because guess what? God was the one that caused it to come into existence, and he will be the one that will cause it to be remade. It's all on him, man. It's all
Man,
on him.
this world is a big divine journey. I tell you that, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
learn something every day from talking with somebody, man. You know, I always tell people, man, my perspective may not always be the right perspective for people,
Yeah.
man. But I always keep an open mind, and I
Yeah.
always listen to everybody, man. I'm the observer. I'm one of the watchers. You know,
Absolutely.
I don't like to go somewhere and be the center of attention, man.
Yeah.
I'm that
Yeah.
cat in the back, man, that's maybe sitting,
Yeah.
listening, watching
Yeah.
around what's going on. You know, back before I was really aware of things in this world,
Yeah.
back in my teenage years, man, we used to go to house parties and such, man.
Right.
And I'd always wind up being security. You know, if somebody
Okay.
threw a party, they was like, "Hey, man, come, you come watch the house. You know,
Yeah.
do this, that, and the other for me." I'd be like, "Yeah, you know, I automatically assume the duty just because I'm a watcher. I'm an observer like that,
Yeah.
man." And I think some of us are put in special positions like that, man, and
Yeah.
maybe we just don't realize it, man. And as I grew wiser in my years, I come to find that that I understand why I'm put in this position now.
Yeah.
The power that I hold as an individual, and the power that 1 second, my brethren.
Okay. I can still hear you, but it's just very low. That's all. I tell you,
I tell you what. 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
People always like to call when I'm doing something important, man. You know,
Of course.
if I'm doing a podcast, somebody's always gonna come in, man, and call me, and I like, oh my goodness, so everybody got to hold on for give me that 1 hour block of peace right there, so I could go ahead and put this together. And it's always like that. But nonetheless, you know, people probably calling me to get a little peace of mind, you know, because I always got something to lead them thinking with. I know she is, man. I know she is. Oh my goodness,
man. But no, but no. So let me give you some background on the sandal, right? Because what it is God's way of checking us and saying, hey, you know, remember, I'm God and you the child. Because it's the same thing we do with our children, right? When your child start acting up, when your niece start acting up, don't you pull her by the you know, by the shirt, like, hey.
Oh man.
Like, hey, remember where you at, right? Because we don't want to think about where we're at. We want to think about what can we do while we're here. And God keeps pulling us or hitting us in the back of the neck with that sandal, like, hey, you need to act right. You need to act appropriately, because 1, you in my presence. 2, you doing my work. And when you in my presence and doing my work, you're representing my people. You're representing me. You are my reflection. And people don't understand that we are the reflection of God. You know, just like your child is a reflection of you, as in thought, as in understanding, as in knowledge. We are the same representation of God. And we don't want to hold on to that. We don't want to believe in that. We don't want to look toward that. We just feel like, oh no, I'm just gonna be me. I know he made you in his image for a reason. And that was the sole reason, so that you represent him appropriately. You represent and walk in his glory, so that you know that you can try it if you want to, but you're gonna get that slap and you'll get that coat and you're like, they're gonna yank you back.
It's so deep. What you just said reflects with the music so well as well. How he's talking about, you representing us, you representing me,
Yep.
So come there with some specific artistry, man, and come there with some creativeness, man. Don't fall victim to wicked Babylon, man. Don't fall victim to the system, man. Be you and be creative, man. Once we can be ourselves.
Yeah. And that's I was gonna say this because I meant to say this earlier at the top of the show. That's what I used to love so much about hip hop. Like way back, because I was born in 1982, right? So I was born
respect
in his
right at the heart of it, man.
Right.
Yeah, so, man.
But there was always this thing, like we would go to the street corner and you would spit your rhyme, right? Or you would spit your verse. And everybody had a different verse. Everybody had a different way of doing it. It may have sounded a little bit, you might have like the same tempo, but the way you said it was totally different from everybody else. Now, guess what? These guys want to sound like each other. They want to rap like each other. They want to talk like each other. They might as well live with each other because they don't want to be unique in their own way. They don't want to come up with something new, different, and that's awe-inspiring. They just want to do the same old thing, make their little paper, and then they off the scene. And then they wonder like why I fall off. Because you was trash from the beginning, sir. Not going to call any names, but hey. That's why I love unique music. When I hear unique, like when I heard your record for the first time, I'm sitting there like, dude, got a real unique sound. Like you have a unique sound. There's not
respect, my brother. Respect.
You don't have a what's the way I want to say this? You're not concerned.
Let the truth be told.
Yeah, you're not concerned about if it sounds like something already been played. You start off your music the way you want to start it off, right? And
I love
you like that. You clear your throat in the background, like the entire time. You're like, all right, here we go. And it's like, why is he doing it? But that's who you are. That's your sound, and I think that's just so dope, man.
Natural vibes, my friend. Natural vibes. Shouldn't we all be a natural mystic?
Yeah, man. But people don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to be who they are. That's why I like it's certain hip hop artists I actually go out and listen to, right? Like when DaBaby came on the scene. That was something that I hadn't heard before. Somebody just jumping on the track and the track hadn't even started yet. Like, hey man, let the music start before you start spitting your verse, right? Or J. Cole. Like J. Cole is one of my favorite rappers because of his thought process. Like he's not going through regular bars the way they're supposed to be going through. Like he doing stuff that's
real talk.
It's just not, like it's not natural, right? And but then you got these rappers. What is it? Little Yachty, right? Yes, I'm dropping names. I'm dropping names. Okay.
Let the truth be told, man.
I can't stand some of those rappers because you just sit there and it's like you sound exactly like this dude. And here's the bad part. They all come out of they actually did a scientific study on like the hip hop generation when it started all kind of like breaking off and becoming this one sound. It all started with Future. I don't know. You know who Future is? Right.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Think about it. When you look at Future, his rap verse, because he come out of the Dungeon family, right? When you look at some of his verses used to sound like Dungeon family stuff. So he started switching it up because he didn't just want that same vibe. So he started switching it up. But everybody started hearing
everybody want to sound like him after that. Oh my goodness.
And so
that was a whole wave in itself.
You got 20 rappers that sound and they all doing the and even Snoop Dogg brought it out. He's like, dog, y'all all sound the same. Like, why? Who are these people listening to? And even when you hear Snoop Dogg come up, because you know how Snoop had his own vibe all together, right? Because I remember I had listened to a real old track of Snoop. This was before he was really considered Snoop Dogg, right? back in the NWA days. He wasn't rapping like, but Dre turned him on and said, "Hey, slow down." Like Dre was like, the beat ain't going that fast. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, slow down, catch up with the beat, like deal with the beat, right? And that's when Snoop started rapping the way that he started rapping. He had that real, like, you know, this real dreamy rap to him. But that was his style.
Artistry, man. Artistry.
Right. It was his art. It was his art. It was his hip hop. And nobody could really match that. And that's why he became such a popular rapper in his time.
Absolutely.
Because he was just like, that's who he was. You know, he didn't allow anybody else to mimic him. You know, and you couldn't mimic him. He was rapping so slow sometimes.
Uniqueness is a lost concept in this world, and it's time that we dig through the crates and bring it back. You know, everything's gonna start reflecting back to the old school eventually, man. Because we're gonna reach a spot like we are at now, man, where everything sounds the same, man. There's no more creativity, so we have to reach back, man, and we have to start studying again, man. These youth don't have these youth in the industry now. They don't have them elders there, man, to tell them how to do it, man, to show them how it's done, you know, to show them how to be creative, how to be themselves, man, you know. And until that happens, we're gonna continue to get the same trash like we're listening to now, man. But we're not. We're not gonna let that ruin us, man.
I'll just go back and listen to them old records. I don't mind listening to them old records.
Likewise, man. I still do all the time, my brethren.
All of them, man. Yeah, man.
Well, all right, my brethren. It's getting kind of late here. My belly's starting to rumble. It's touching my back right now, so it's time for me to chef something good up for myself and sip on the rest of it. That's what I'm talking about, man. You already know now. Have me a nice hot tea to end the evening time, man. It's about 8:08 right now. So, like I want to say one more time, man. Everybody got to be mindful. As an artist, it's our duty, man, to teach the next one, man, and be conscious to the message that we're sending, man, because you never know who's listening out there, man. With that being said, give thanks for tuning in to Rock Truth Radio this evening time. Marley King, my brethren next to me, good to see you again this week, man. Yeah. Maybe we'll see old Selena K, Miss Mary come back here in a couple of weeks. Good sister Octavia, you was really helpful in the chat today. Give thanks to you. Maybe we could work something out, and I'm going to take a little bit of your time on Tuesdays and have you be my computer for me. You see? Something serious. But nonetheless, one love, Octavia. Good to have you on the show, Dr. Ock. Yeah, man, peace and love to everybody out there in the good world, man, far and near. And have a good night to y'all.
Yes, sir.
Crazy,
yeah, man.
Crazy lady living in the bag. Not a like a banger, like a banger. Watching all the creep, tell us